Greetings, YouTube. This intro is going to be short, but it's a topic that I do enjoy discussing. Stop telling me to turn my brain off during movies. If the only way to enjoy something is to turn your brain off, then it probably isn't very good. And there isn't enough thumbs up in all the universe for me for this statement. Because I'm a firm believer that if a film is incapable of being consistent and internally logical, asking the audience to turn its brain off so that they can enjoy it, to overlook those glaring flaws, is just poor cinematography. Now, there are exceptions, of course. I like kaiju movies, particularly the actual Japanese kaiju movies. Um, I do actually found Pacific Rim to be dumb fun. It was dumb fun. The sequel, not as much dumb fun. Somehow, the second one lost the gravitas of the first one, if that makes any sense. But I really liked the last Godzilla movie, the one setting up the Godzilla Kong battle, and I enjoyed Kong. I think both of those did a very good job in different ways of bringing the kaiju films to a bigger audience in the modern era. And I think they were superior to Pacific Rim, and far superior to Pacific Rim 2. So there are times when I can say, yes, I accept this. It's easier for me to do this when it's animation. Animated films, I give a lot more benefit of the doubt to. Um, but the more a film is set in the real world, and everything that isn't fantastical, whether it's science fiction or actual fantasy, should function like the real world. So when the first Craig Bond came out, that was really well grounded. There were very few unusually gadgety stuff in there. It was brutally real in many ways, which is what I loved about it. And this subsequent ones got a little more loose. It's kind of like why I really loved the early Bond with Sean Connery, and it was only until, like, I think Thunderball that it just jumped the shark, and then it started getting just cartoony. And like Roger Moore, when he played the character, it was like he always knew when he was looking at the camera that I am, in fact, a film character. I know this. I know I will not die. So that really, again, it pushed into the cartoon range. So there's still, you can sit back and go, oh, look, it's bright colors and things like that. I get that. But that's lazy cinematography, particularly when the people making the films think that they're being incredibly realistic. And they do, or did, because I've listened to the commentary to like all the James Bond movies, and many of them will discuss about how realistic it was and all these things, and how groundbreaking some of these things were, and it was neither realistic nor groundbreaking. So whatever the flavor aid is in the James Bond universe, it must be very tasty. But lots of films require you to just turn your brain off and watch this thing for pure entertainment. Well, something can be pure entertainment and still be really, really good. One of the examples I can think of is The Phantom Tollbooth, which is like my favorite animated film of all time. That, pardon me, apparently my throat is acting up. Um, that's a bizarre premise, but it's also really well done, and it's very entertaining. And I finally got around to reading the book, um, and it was interesting to see how the book and the film did differ. Yes, Meow, how are you, dear? Um, Apparently, scratching your head was not enough. You want to walk across my keyboard. But I'm really tired of the whole we as the audience have to lower our expectations to be able to enjoy a film. No. The writers need to up their game. And a writer that can do that makes a better experience for the rest of us. So aspects of the world that they're setting that aren't fantastical need to be grounded in some kind of reality. This cat has a certain specific types of behavior. The cats in the world should behave in the same way. Well, not specifically, because she's a little weird, but you get the point. And when they don't, that's glaringly obvious, and it takes me out of the setting. So when, someone fires 400 rounds from your average 9mm semi-automatic pistol, yeah, that takes me out of it. Okay, when things only break down at specific dramatic points and they function all the other times, that kind of takes me out of it. There are times when having a vehicle breakdown makes sense. There are times when it's just you're throwing that in there to create faux drama. When teams of heroes do the we have to do this alone, we can't call any resources outside of what we have here, that's a tired trope, and it's a tired trope within like the Mission Impossible universe. It's in it within itself with Tom Cruise's films, but in general that's a tired trope because you want to create that false sense of urgency and of just false sense of scarcity. I guess that's one way to look at it economically. It's supposed to make things more dramatic. Just it's poor. If these people are part of an organization, these people should be able to draw on that organization. If you can't factor that into your storyline in a believable way, why they can't access them, or build in they did access them, but there's still going to be drama, that's just lazy writing. And I'm tired of lazy writing, and we as the audience should be tired of lazy writing, because the fact that we apparently will keep dumping our money on these things is a sign to the creators that they can be lazy, and we will still buy their stuff. Now, I am guilty of this as well. For example, I paid to see Infinity War, even though I said out loud when they finally revealed the motive of Thanos, I'm like, he's an idiot. Right out loud I said that. Because he is. He doesn't understand biology, economics. He doesn't really understand anything in the universe. And if you're going to tell me he's insane, he's mad, then he shouldn't have been able to achieve his ends, because he shouldn't have been stable enough to do it. If he was stable enough to achieve his ends, he should have been smart enough to realize that his ends were dumb. And he should have realized that he was, in fact, a serial mass murderer, which is something you don't see every day. People, mass murderers or serial killers? Yep, no, he's a serial mass murderer. That's something you don't see every day. So yes, I've babbled long enough about films and why I just get disappointed in them, and why I wish that writers would be better and they would up their game and stop expecting the audience to turn their brain off so that they can ignore the glaring holes in their plots and their bad writing. Expecting the audience to do the work for you is asking too much. So let's talk about turning your brain off for films and lazy filmmaking, and does this thing kind of get under your craw like it does mine? Because this is one of those grinds my crank kind of thing, grinds my gears kind of thing. It bugs the crap out of me.